The exact same bans, except Lilia ban, except Sari. Just the exact same thing, run the whole thing back, but one change.
Oh,
Ash.
the Ash change
Still a
is
change.
going to be what's coming in. It does make me curious to see if they either A, think Ash was the problem, or B, want to first pick Lilia for Umti, and then potentially try some sort of swap to get him super far ahead.
And that's the other thing that Team Liquid could also be changing, even if they don't make a massive departure from their team comp at game 1, is just swapping. Just making the game a completely different pace, because it was very even throughout the laning phase.
That one fan that had the Unleash the Dog sign is going to be really happy about this one.
Actually banging the Lilia away, knowing that TL might go for it. Interesting.
But now the Nasus is open, so we'll see
Is open. The
what
dogs are out.
Yeah, what quad is going to end up playing into that.
I think he's going to play Garen.
No? You think he's going to play it?
Ivern's open as well, so if they just go Garen Ivern here at some point,
Yeah.
Probably going to be playing Corki.
They're going Corki. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, going up against FlyQuest, that was the first Nasus bans that were coming in the LCS, that is. Like, it was pretty much quad, that is. I made that mistake. That quad that was going for the Nasus play in I'm assuming scrims, but for sure in solo queue. And so it's a takeaway, and I'm interested to see what APA can do with it.
Line peg is interesting. Going for the good laner, but still, I'm not really a fan of Jhin against Nasus.
I mean, possibly they're just trying to kite him out a little bit in team fights, and I'm also expecting then that Bwipo or Inspired are going to have to be able to do a lot of damage. Otherwise, they wouldn't have enough to break through a late-game farmed-up Nasus.
FlyQuest also needs some magic damage in this comp already, and they have Lilia taken out of the draft already, Rumble as well, so I'm not sure where they will get their magic damage from in this draft. I don't think Inspired will play Syra or Brand.
The Kalista Senna coming through, because the Senna early pick, FlyQuest did ban it on 4-5 last draft. This is a really interesting first few rotations from TL that sets up this kind of Kalista pick that they've liked to play around before with a pushing bot lane, and then APA on the Nasus.
Yeah, and I mean, already from Team Liquid's comp, you're kind of afraid of it. And there it is.
There's the AP damage.
Yep.
Brand comes through, so at least that solves that. But if you're Team Liquid, or really if you're FlyQuest, FlyQuest a little bit scared of the scaling on Team Liquid side. You got the shielding, healing from Team Liquid side, and a really beefed up Nasus. So I'm interested to see how we round out the comp from Team Liquid.
Yeah, well, we're definitely getting to see how deep in the sauce these two teams are against each other, because not only is this the 7th playoff game they've played against each other on the same patch, it's the 7th game they've been on the same side of each game. Team Liquid has picked blue every time they've had a choice, and FlyQuest has picked red every time they've had a choice.
Yeah, and it's been interesting to see how FlyQuest have used their red side picks in a lot of these drafts. Like last draft, we saw saving it for the Yeon for quad. Previously, we saw in the last series, we saw them saving it for Bwipo, which is something they did previously before they swapped to kind of sometimes saving it for Busio with support. As we see both Maokai and a Mumu taken off the table, two setups.
LCS special.
Yeah.
Sven, do you go support on 4 if you're FlyQuest here?
Yeah, I think you just pick Nautilus, Rell, or Leona, whichever one TL leaves open here. They can kind of choose for you at this point. I think Busio prefers the Leona over the Rell, which is why they banned it. I think at this point he'll be like, yep, I have to play Rell here. It's not an option. Could go Alistar, it's possible. They need some engage though, no matter what.
And I've been thinking about 5-pick a little bit just because the threat of a Nasus top lane.
He's not going to play this.
Mithy wouldn't be happy about this one. And Nuke Duck. Nuke Duck especially.
He had the one game, and then they were like, never again.
We're cutting that one. Cut the tape.
I agree with Sven. It's, going to be the Rell locked in.
Yeah. You choose whatever he picks.
Yeah, exactly.
You ban Rell and Leona, I'll pick Nautilus. You ban Nautilus and Leona, I'll pick Rell. It's very simple.
But now we get
and
to
here
see...
we're going to have a Xante, I'm guessing, from Impact.
I mean, I'm imagining that. We just want to see where the Nasus ends up going, because the fear is that the Nasus is just going to stack on you topside if you go Cassante. So
Jungler, if it's picked. I wouldn't be surprised if TL picks Skarner and Cassante, or like just 3 tanks, and then Senna. It's like, what do you want? Beefy front line, you heal them, and they stand in front of you. That's just a different Skarner.
Yeah, and this is interesting because Team Liquid, with the ability to have Black Cleaver on Senna if they wanted to, but more so the armor shred from Nasus' E, they're less concerned with being all physical damage.
50%.
It's a lot of armor shred.
That's a lot of armor, yeah.
I mean, he's hovering.
That's not happening
That's
either.
not going to happen.
This could happen,
happening. I like it.
There it is. We've locked in that one. And that's a lot of burst coming in from FlyQuest. So if we're just talking about who they're going to be looking to assassinate, if it's a Senna, Kalista, or something, the Urgot latches onto them. That's a great comp from FlyQuest.
A very different TL than we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
No control mage, no ranged mid laner, 3 melee champions, and a Senna.
But is it a 1-1 series or a 2-0 series after this game?
I like Team Liquid's comp, but if this brand gets out of control, he might just one-shot everyone.
We'll see. This is a big departure from what we've seen in previous games. Casters, let's get into game 2.
Thank you very much, Lounge. Welcome back, everybody. We got a lot of changes in the Game 2 draft compared to Game number 1. Not only is Team Liquid breaking out the Nasus mid, but we got FlyQuest with the Urgot top for Bwipo.
Team Liquid, they reduced their range in their composition by like 70% from game number 1 to game number 2 here. They are so all in on this short range clump. Now they're the ones with the double melee solo laners with the Sejuani synergy. So I want to see Team Liquid now. They're the ones with some early game options and try and push the tempo. Bottom lane with a Kalista Senna combo and then Sejuani combos up for the top side of the map. Should be a spicy one.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And something I've got to point out is the fact that not only is this a departure from the TL norm, it is a massive one. This is the first melee mid laner the APA has played the entire year.
The whole year?
Not played one.
Wowee.
Only plays those range style champions. They are always the team fight 5v5, scale it up, farm it up. This is a very different style here on Nasus, and there is a lot of CC and annoying champions over on the other side. There's of course the Rell CC. There's going to be a Rylai's brand that's slowing you down. There's going to be Urgot flipping you. There's all these things that are going to really make it difficult for Nasus to connect with the targets he wants to.
All right. Also, this man on your screen right now with Bwipo, for those of y'all who aren't familiar with Urgot, remember that 2 big power spikes for this guy, and we'll see how well FlyQuest play around them. Level 9, when your W, your purge, becomes a toggle instead of a cooldown, and level 13, when your shotgun knees get down to the lowest possible CD for reloads. Big power spikes for this guy.
It's always fun watching the really good Urgots too, because they'll turn off their toggle real quick for the auto attack and then turn it back on.
Exactly. Lots of little things you can do, but right now Emily is standing by for an interview with Coach Spawn.
Hello, I am here with TL Coach Spawn. So first of all, coming out of game 1, what do you think you guys need to improve on for game 2?
They just fought really well that game, to be honest. I think they were in a pretty good spot before the third dragon up 1,000 gold, and then they just wrapped us and fought really well. But they've played on the game, on the stage 3 times. That was our first time, so just getting used to the setup, getting used to the crowd, and I'm sure we'll play this game a little bit better.
And then really fun draft coming out for game 2, especially with the Nasus, Kalista, and Senna first pick. So in terms of executing on this draft, what would you like to see from the TL team?
I would like us to group as a ball and hit champions closest to us.
Sounds like a good plan. Thank you so much. It's always great to talk to you, Spawn. Back to you, casters.
All right, when you're a short-range comp, grouping up as a ball and hitting whoever's close to you sounds like the recipe to success to me.
You know what Brand loves? Also, short-range clumps of enemy champions, so he can just bounce and destroy them all. So we'll see. Inspired was just so good in the first game with his Lilia pick. Bottom lane, though.
Immediately turning into a 2v2 scrap down here as Busio and Massu trying to fire back against the early oppressive power that we know Kalista to be.
I mean, this is going to be a really interesting game because Brand obviously is a nightmare for all these melee champions, but at the same time, Senna, if you get to a certain level, you can have so much sustain, can really give that staying power for those melee champions to be able to survive the initial burst to get into the backline. Umti's down here towards bot. He's going to try to sneak into this brush, and we'll see if he can make a play happen early.
Can they bait Busio?
Yeah, that's what they're waiting for. Wave's moving a little bit too far forward now, so Umti's not really going to have a chance to make a whole lot happen. He'll move back into the river instead. Might be, no, just waiting on the Scuttle Crab.
And he did drop 2 camps to do this, where Inspired is just power farming here, and he's going to be spotted by this ward, I think, over by mid lane. Wasn't actually noticed because it was over the wall, so it didn't have line of sight.
Okay, Quad in some danger here as Umti's coming up. Goes right in after him there with the Arctic Assault. One more hit for the stun. Ladies and gentlemen, Quad is done. First blood to the big dog in the mid lane.
Plus 12, stack them up. APA starting early. He hasn't played a lot of melee champs, but he has played some stacking champions. And if you get the Nasus ahead early, we have seen what Jensen was able to do with it and really just take hold of the victory in his Nasus game for Dignitas. So we'll see if APA can do the same.
And early kills are so big at accelerating the Nasus. I played a lot of this champion. The hardest part is always getting through those early levels. If you can get gifted a first blood like that, you get your items accelerated, you get your gold accelerated, you get more CDR, you're stacking faster, you're not getting pushed out, you're not getting bullied. It really changes the entire game. And a Jhin first buy is massive.
Yeah, and so he can go right up the river. This is because Umti went through bottom lane. So this ward that sees the ramp from Raptors doesn't do anything for Quad. And Umti's able to follow the Valkyrie very easily, stacking up no problem.
Boom. Just like that. I mean, APA, first game here on a that guy's loving it. First game on a Melee champion this year and off to an incredibly good start. But he has been so impactful for TL, dominating the All-Pro votes here in summer in 2024. In spring, obviously, he was getting no votes at all last year. And this is just talking about the rapid acceleration, how good this guy has gotten, how fast he has gotten there. No votes at all to being first team All-Pro this split is just insane.
Meteoric.
Team Liquid in spring this year, not that long ago, were kind of middle of the pack, and it wasn't until playoffs that they really took off. But they've got the lane swap coming now.
Okay, Impact jumps in after Bwipo here, but Bwipo is immediately just going to back away from this. Yeon and CoreJJ coming up now to swap into the top lane like you're talking about. We see teams often like to do this before that first spawn of grubs happening 45 seconds from now.
And this one is pretty early, and that minion wave did not have a cannon, so a lot of those minions do die bottom, but Umti's still sticking around on top side. They'll now see...
Oh, counterattack from FlyQuest as Busio and Inspired just dismantle whatever Team Liquid had planned.
Yeah, TL made that one a little bit too obvious. Inspired reads the play, gets up there to the top side, and is able to make a big difference here, helping them to get that first kill. Unfortunately, it did go to Busio that last hit, as APA is going to be a little bit careful. Is running low on mana, and that's sometimes the struggle for Nasus a lot more than the sustain, because you have so much sustain from your passive. As long as you have mana, you really can stay out there for quite a long time.
And that is the second play that costs Umti a lot. Now, even though the mid lane gank was successful, it still put Umti behind on the Sejuani because Inspired was full clearing on the brand. And that power clear is going to be the same situation we had in game number 1, where it's AP clear versus a tank jungle. So the brand is being set up as Impact is trying to do his own setup on Bwipo.
I mean, just look at the experience bars. Below their levels, you can see that pink bar. That is their current experience. Inspired is closer to 6 than Umti is to 5, right? So he is very far ahead, and Brand really can be a difference maker against this sort of composition.
And it only gets worse. And I think Sven did a very good job pointing out, if the brand is fed, that is the worst of problems for this Team Liquid comp. So definitely will be something that they'll have to combat and kind of deal with as we get towards the mid stages of the game. They still are able to get all 3 grubs here, though, and as long as Yeon is able to just walk away, they won't pay any further price.
And I mean, it's all about Riley's injuries. That's really what you want to see here, I think, for the brand. When you're playing as all these melee champions, the slow, the burn is so annoying to actually deal with here. And getting a great start here again. Inspired, back on these AP power farmers in finals. It is a departure from what we've been seeing from him throughout playoffs. So it's interesting to see that that prep really has changed when they think specifically about how do we take down TL.
And he's just such a versatile jungler. Inspired, spams the Ivern. He also spams the full clear. Also put plenty of games in onto tanks. He's just very versatile. And we even, if you look at his solo queue, he doesn't even play jungle champs in solo queue. He plays a bunch of mid lane and bottom lane as well. So very, very versatile as far as understanding multiple types of roles and how to play them at different stages of the game.
Meatballs, Discord kittens, CEO carries. The man can play anything in the jungle that the team needs him to play as Impact jumps in after Bwipo. Nice sidestep there on the disdain. Impact continuing after the Urgot. Another leap strike, flashing forward for the Empower. Impact showing everybody again why he's number 1.
That's your world champion Jack skin right there. He's got one. Never plays it, but still is able to get the solo kills.
Top die again here for Impact. And that is massive. When you fall behind a champion like Jax that hard scales as a split pusher, it is really tough to stay relevant here. And Impact just played that out beautifully, letting the Counter-Strike just land the entire time there to avoid as many auto attacks as possible. Sidesteps the disdain for the flip back. Bwipo knows from there you're screwed and you're just trying to get out.
Yeah, that's the second time the observers have shown us Impact sidestepping the attempts there from Bwipo, and this time around Impact is able to follow through. He knows he has lethal on the chase, flash for flash, and Team Liquid now, CoreJJ linking up with Umti to secure the vision for APA in this mid lane, who, after getting that first blood, has kept up with the stacking. Of course, rushing into cooldown reduction from both boots as well as the Jhin here to really get max stacks as quickly as possible.
Yep, absolutely. He's going to be feeling really good about that spot. And honestly, when Nasus starts hitting 200-300 stacks, you have to start getting really scared just about the trades with a Jhin proc and a Q. We saw earlier in the game, Quad was just auto-attacking him. There's not really any recourse for APA. It's just about farming. But you start hitting about 5 more minutes into the game, Quad starts having to be a little bit scared. You can start just walking forward, forcing out the Valkyrie, and making his game a lot more difficult to play, because that's a long cooldown and it costs a lot of mana.
All right, Team Liquid gonna go ahead, claim themselves that first Drake. They got all 3 grubs uncontested in this game as well. They're up a single kill, so pretty much by all metrics, Team Liquid is ahead. A little bit of saving grace that we've already talked about for FlyQuest is inspired on the brand being off to a good start personally. But when Impact's making plays like this, the side lane threat is imminent.
And again, a second sidestep on that charge forward as Bwipo has eaten someone.
Yeah, I don't think that dog's coming back. He went to a farm down the road. He is gone.
Yeah, well, Bwipo may be in trouble as well.
Yeah, now Bwipo's going to pay the price. Team Liquid ready to get revenge for their mid laner before he's even back on the rip. Makes that an even trade.
You know what? Fair. If someone killed my dog, I'd do the same thing.
They John Wicked him. They John Wicked Bwipo for taking out APA. Sorry, Chad, it was not supposed to get that dark. But anyway, we got Umti looking for Quad now here in the mid lane. APA with a teleport back in. Maybe a stun there onto Quad, but Inspired shows up in time to keep everybody nice and safe.
Important to look at the aftermath here, and good job again by observers here, showing Impact continuing to mine gold, because Bwipo, after getting that kill and rotating up to the top side, he has no teleport. So this tower just dies. All he can do is cry as he tries to crawl back to lane, all the minions dying. Here's a look at the replay, though. You saw the start.
That was just anti-timing there. APA walked out, saw the full vision of that side brush, then walked back, and right at that split second, without knowing, they walked in, so he didn't see anyone walking into that brush, ends up getting him caught out, but Impact is monstrously ahead. He's about to take this first tower here, wants to deny even more CS before he does it. You're about to see that gold lead explode in the top lane. 1.7K, 11 minutes in here for the Jax. He's gotten 2 kills, and he is going to be off to the races. I wouldn't be surprised if he has the full Triforce. He definitely does on base.
MVP of the league, biggest gold lead in the entire game on Jax right now, with some Void Grub power, might I add. This is going to be all 6 when Umti completes this one. So you have a split pushing Jax who is already ahead in the hands of Impact.
And Nasus as well. I mean, you're going to have 2 people 1-3-1 very likely, with this composition. They both have really good pairings with Sejuani because you're playing the double melee solo laner, and then you try to take a 2v2. Well, guess what? Senna's going to ult cross map and make that even more difficult. So TL is really set up to play the map very, very well. It is a different style playing it on a melee split pusher than it is on the Corkis and the Tristanas and the Ziggs and everything that we normally see APA do. But still, that's TL bread and butter. They're so good at playing the map.
Wave crashing into mid lane with nobody ready to catch it here just yet. So a few of those minions are going to be eaten up by the turret, but Yeon will move into position to pick up the rest. You can see slight gold leads, couple hundred there for Yeon and CoreJJ over their counterparts on FlyQuest. The gold lead in mid lane does belong to Quad, being the range champion against the Nasus. That is the expectation. Inspired, still ahead in the jungle, but not to the degree that he was in game 1.
And Impact did go for the steel caps because he's going to be split pushing versus an Urgot and versus a Corki. But that does mean Inspired is really set up to be the one to carry this game against the short range that Team Liquid are playing, against the steel caps there, specifically on Impact. And he is being patient with this.
Very patient. I mean, this is a long investment here. Impact sussed it out.
Yeah, Impact taking a lot of damage, though. Burning, burning, burning. Inspired slows him down with a smite. Impact, again, just needing to create enough distance, and he will survive.
You could tell Impact had an inkling that something was there, but obviously, underestimating how much damage, because they invaded up into the enemy jungle. There was no one on those camps. They're getting all these wards down. He says, okay, I'm going to check the side lane brush, but Inspired, and making him think twice about that.
Importantly, that's Inspired's ultimate, committed to not get a kill. Herald is spawning in 30 seconds. The Dragon is going to spawn in about 1 minute.
Also, you're seeing them have to sacrifice the pressure on top lane there. Bwipo cannot step up to the minion wave with this Nasus. The Wither is just so scary as a chase down tool, and so this means APA does continue to farm very freely up here in this long extended lane where the tower is gone. There is no safety for the side of FlyQuest.
It's also worth noting that generally, you know, Nasus, the standard build is you go 3 points E and then you start maxing Q. He only actually had to go 2 because he got that first blood invested. He's putting already more points into Wither, already has 2 points into the Wither, plus the 5 points on the Q there. So he is stacking up incredibly fast. He's already at about 300 stacks here 14 minutes in. If he really wants to focus on it, this could be one of those games where it gets to that point where he walks up, presses R, presses Q, and you die.
Okay, we've got Inspired still with no ulti and Rift Herald on the map, so Team Liquid just sees an easy green light to go after this objective, secure that for themselves. That's going to mean 100% of neutral objectives thus far have gone the way of TL in game number 2, and right as that Herald falls, our next neutral objective spawns with the second Drake showing up as APA has to deal with Busio and Bwipo together. They drop the Ignite. If they get him below the threshold, they can go for the execution with Fear Beyond Death. APA wants to stand and fight it a little bit longer. He's going to be way too low. Into the grinder he goes, and Bwipo gets another.
Good job attacking a side lane here from FlyQuest. Busio down the lane, and they get the kill. They put a stop to the Nasus stacking. It's still going to be difficult dealing with the pressure, though. Quad's going to have to get back down bottom side because Impact can destroy turrets as well on the other half of the map, and the Dragon will arrive.
And it is a pretty expensive kill because it's the flash, it's the ignite, it's the ultimate off Busio, it's the ultimate off Bwipo, so they spent a lot to get him. And on the other side, Impact is taking away that tower, but look at top lane, Bwipo's in trouble.
Yeah, you've got Umti going after the Urgot. Now, Sejuani on her own is not that much of a threat against a champion like this, but APA is coming in for backup. Bwipo wants to try to get away from it, and APA plus 12s him. Quad trying to strike back, but he's stunned up, gun down! APA's just barking at him!
And they get the flash out of Quad. He tried to flash to finish the kill on the Sejuani and can't even get that.
It's the big dog from APA, gets the double kill, gets to stack them both as well, as Quad tried to come in and bail him out, but that was all set up by Umti, played it out so well, bought so much time, never gave Bwipo away to actually exit from that fight, forced him to commit to it, and then survives, gets the double kill for his mid laner. Triforce was already done, and now he's going to be slingshot even further forward.
All right, in the meantime, it was the Drake claimed by FlyQuest, but now Inspired's got to try to get away from Impact. Busio in the middle of everybody, but Bwipo's made his TP entrance on the flank. Lots of damage back into Busio, and Yeon's going to grab the first kill as it's traded back for Impact, and Bwipo continues chasing. Disdain forward, but CoreJJ and Yeon are both still trying to kite it out. Umti on the front line blocking some of the shots. Yeon down to 250 HP. The piercing darkness looking to take him low. Umti gets the kill back on Bwipo. He's still running away, but surely he must fall. Yeon and Core continuing to think about a fight. Inspired is almost out of mana, and Core and Yeon are still looking, but they got to be careful. Deadly Flourish roots Yeon, and Massu and Inspired are dancing with death. Yeon's not going to find the kill there. Massu goes in for the execution.
APA's coming.
Get it. Yeon still trying to kite it out. A root onto Inspired. A spear into his heart. Quad and APA not getting into the fight just yet. It's an absolute battle.
Yeon and CoreJJ playing that fight on the knife's edge, avoiding every single skill shot, it felt like, from Inspired, utilizing those heals from the Senna, utilizing their range to the maximum, and also follow Impact early on in this fight. You thought he was just going to go down immediately. Watch, he steps behind Yeon, makes him tank it, leap strikes back in, gets the kill, and forces so many tools to be used out on him.
Then with the Kalista ultimate, they get the peel for the rest of the members. Umti comes over the top, and they actually get a retreat kill onto Bwipo. Senna ultimate isn't going to save Umti, but at key moment there, Inspired flashes forward, and so now Yeon and CoreJJ know they both have flash advantage, and so they're just buying time for APA on the Nasus. If you watch the mini-map, he came down from the other side, forced the extra kill, and they used their flash advantages.
Back.
So well played.
Back alive. Hold on 1 second. Umti sliding in. Lands the Glacial Prison on Inspire, but now Team Liquid's got to be careful because FlyQuest is wanting to make the collapse. Reinforcements about to arrive. Inspired locked down. APA's going to be killed first. Inspired has the damage there, but Impact's looking to mop one back up on the other side. FlyQuest have lost 3 for the 1 of Team Liquid. Impact finally drops, making a 3 for 2. The curtain call opens, but the bullets aren't strong enough. Massu now needs to retreat as Umti jumps forward, but he pays for it with his life. Quad and Massu still trying to fight, but Yeon takes out one. He's about to get the other. The AD carry for Team Liquid stands tall.
It's Yeon and CoreJJ against the world, and they love those odds. The bot lane for TL is popping off in game 2.
Let's take a look at how it all started out. After the tower went down, Umti with the sliding Sejuani ult onto Inspired, but it is FlyQuest who flank with Bwipo and actually attack the back line. Then they dump all damage into APA to actually kill off the front line. It's just Impact's teleport that allows them to actually finish off that kill.
Exactly. APA can't get a lot done, but there's so many tools spent on him. The Impact gets into the back line, and again, Yeon and Core, this is so indicative of what they talked about last split, how they are going to fight you at every turn. They're going to believe their mechanics. If they think it's the right play, they're going for it.
And Umti is always the willing sacrifice. He is a role player. He knows his job. The Sejuani goes in knowing he's within kill threat just to ensure the other 2 kills for his bottom lane.
Oh yeah, he's loving it.
They are popping off.
TL fans loving what they're seeing in game number 2. Game number 1 was tough for them, but they're striking back.
And both of these teams are headlined by these AD carries who have been so incredible for them. Rookie of the Year in 2023, the Rookie of the Year in 2024. Both of them have really grown into a role where they are primary carries, where they can be trusted by these teams, surrounded by veterans. They're saying, no, give Yeon the ball. He knows what to do with it.
Yeon on his Kalista, 0 deaths this game. He came very close to dying, but flashed away multiple times, able to come out on top. And now Team Liquid, they actually have a lot of burn threats.
That one got me. I don't know.
They have a lot of objective threats on the neutral objectives, as well as having Impact and APA as very competent split pushers. But APA actually here might have his flash tested. He's at least having the vision tested. That control ward doing a lot of work there in the tri-brush. And FlyQuest this time around, not full sending through the extra vision.
Yeah, APA does have that Frozen Heart, which is great against AD carries. You need the mana, you need the CDR. Is a really effective item, but I think he definitely needs some MR to deal with this brand as well, because the brand is going to be focusing him in so many of these fights. You have to go forward on the Nasus, and it can be really difficult to do so. You can see, though, Inspired doesn't actually have the luxury of going for the Rylai's. He did pick up healing debuff. He's going towards that Void Staff to preempt that, as they are starting up this Baron here.
Yeah, Baron has already been begun by Team Liquid, as Busio and Inspired are going to come around to check this one. Inspired now having Quad next to him as well. Looking to put some damage here to APA. CoreJJ, not quite the best Senna ulti there, but just wanted to make sure that he kept his team protected, as Team Liquid's going to be forced off of the Baron. Bwipo looking for a pincer angle here, but FlyQuest realizes this is not the angle, this is not the play. They back off, they're still 5,000 gold behind.
Yeah, I mean, TL's not going to commit to that, I think, with the brand in their face. They can just go down and start doing this dragon. They could even send APA to just solo that up. So TL is sending some members still to stay around here to make sure that there's no sort of counter Baron play here, as Umti, Yeon, Impact all staying there. Nasus solos the dragon. They're going to be able to win out from this position. And they want to make sure they're just not giving up any objective bounties. FlyQuest has not been able to get any objectives yet this game. No towers, nothing, but those objective bounties have spawned, so it makes it even more important to defend them.
And they know that FlyQuest is probably resetting now after that standoff, so they want to tempt them, want to test them once again, starting up that Baron. But as soon as they see FlyQuest still around, they're going to back away as APA secures the Drake.
And they wanted to force as many resources from FlyQuest continually back to the top of the map, because their bot lane was pushing, plus they have Nasus on the dragon. So force FlyQuest to give up a little bit more each time, keep checking. They're not going to full send on this Baron. They're just trying to force FlyQuest to constantly have to send more resources over. Now with the Rage Blade Kalista.
Hold on, but bottom lane, APA and Bwipo. Bwipo doesn't win those. APA APA up to 4 kills now on the Nasus. There's no way FlyQuest wins this shortly as they try to approach the Baron down to 5K. Busio looking for a shattering strike, but he will not find it. FlyQuest still trying to poke. Team Liquid still trying to regroup while APA split pushes down to the bottom lane. Yeon pulls Core away to safety. The Baron still at 4,000. APA just chopping at the tier 3 inhibitor turret. Massu gonna take a ton of damage. He barely gets away, barely survives. Inspired's killed first. Impact gets some. Umti needs a little bit more damage to take out Massu. Quad goes back over the wall. FlyQuest goes back to the fountain. Quad will join the rest.
They can TP for the end.
Liquid are ready to end game 2. Bwipo's back alive. APA is unafraid. Impact ready for the teleport. APA back in the ulti. Bwipo back to a black and white screen. They still have the Void Mites. APA resets the tower aggro. Team Liquid going for the end of the game. Only Busio alive, but there is no minion wave. Team Liquid still trying to end, but the timers don't favor them. They're going to take the Hex Gate. The game goes on.
No minions, and Inspired is coming back up. The brand could destroy them all, so they have to give up the chase there. But TL, the power of Nasus, bonk, bonk, bonk. They send Bwipo back to the fountain twice in a row and almost take the whole base.
And I think it was such a smart call from APA to not actually TP to the play. I think that was critical because there's no flash, no ultimate. You're going to get nothing done in that fight. So all TL had to do was make sure that FlyQuest could not base. So that's why they're staying around the Baron. They're keeping it low. They won't let it leash. They're holding their attention there, buying time for APA, who was almost able to end the game.
And the flank from Impact was beautiful. TL were able to get not only the split push, not only keep FlyQuest by Baron, but they also then won the fight with the flank onto the back line. Beautiful stuff from TL to strike back in game number 2 here after FlyQuest so handily took game number 1. TL looked like they're going to do the same.
Baron's still alive. Team Liquid going after it. You can see CoreJJ just running interference in case anybody from FlyQuest tries to step up. Impact waiting over the wall in the brush near the Krugs. Completely out of sight, but ready for a flank angle. He is on a ward now, so FlyQuest is going to find him out of position. Hex Flash from Busio goes for Shattering Strike on Impact, but it ain't going to work. APA in a 1v2 down to the bottom lane at the same time. The team is securing the Baron. Bwipo is about to die. APA needs a little bit more damage, but he can't find it just yet. Instead, he's going to take Quad. You cannot deal with APA. A double kill for the Team Liquid mid laner. Seals the fate of this second game. Inspired gets a kill on Umti as FlyQuest holds the line back in mid. Busio still in the front, eating a lot of spears, about to die, but he barely escapes with a crash down shield. APA rebuffing the bottom lane. Impact still in the enemy base. Busio still trying to escape. They can lock Impact up, but they can't gun him down. Busio still burning. Team Liquid still pushing. FlyQuest is learning that this is gonna be a bloody one yet again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all tied up.
FlyQuest may have taken game number 1, but APA proving TL are still top dog in NA.
And both teams, all business, immediately heading off stage, ready for game 3, ready to talk about the adaptations. APA in the side lane was a monster. Him and Impact, they didn't have answers for them both. You can't be everywhere, and TL took full advantage of it.
The TL melee carries were doing some heavy lifting. Let's toss it over to the lounge to break it down.